Hello students, I Pallab Tiwari welcome you all in Pallab Tiwari classes. In this video we will discuss liberalization. Dear viewers, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I upload the new video you get the notification. Let's start liberalization policy in India. See, liberalization refers to the freedom of the economy from the direct or the physical control. What it means? It means that making the rules and regulations simple so that more and more private investors should invest the money. In short, we can say it implies greater dependence on the market. What it means? Earlier, every decision is being taken by the government, but through the liberalization it is being decided. Now all the decision will be encircling around marketing tools. It also refers to the move from the planned socialist economy towards the market economy. Listen, in the case of the socialist economy, all the decision is being taken by the government. Decision relating to the production, consumption, distribution, every decision is being taken by the government. But now it is being realized in the liberalization that all the decisions should be taken after considering the market forces, that is demand and supply. This liberalization is also portrayed as meta ideology. Why? Because it is capable of embracing. Listen, when I say embracing, it means capable of adopting the wide range of contradictory values and beliefs. Let us see the reforms which comes under liberalization. The first reform is industrial sector reforms. Second reform is financial sector reforms. Third is fiscal or tax reforms. Fourth is foreign exchange reforms. And fifth is trade and investment policy reforms. Let us study all these reforms in detail. First is the industrial sector reforms. Under the industrial sector reforms, government has taken 5 measures. Let us see all these measures. The first one is de-licensing of industries, then de-reservation of the industries, then abolition of MRTP limit, then import of capital goods, and then reforms in the small scale industries. Let us discuss all these measures one by one. The first is de-licensing of industries. Before 1991, if the entrepreneur want to expand the business, want to open up the business or want to shut down the business, they have to take the permission from the government. It is compulsory. The number of industries put under the compulsory provision of licensing belonging to Schedule B and Schedule C. Now it is being cut down to 5 industries. Let us see the industries where the license is compulsory. For rest of the industries, it is not needed, it is not compulsory. The industries can be opened, can be closed, can be allowed to expand the business before procuring the license, except 5 industries or 6 industries. Let us see the industries where the license is compulsory. The first is aerospace and defense related industries. Here the license is compulsory. The next is gunpowder, industrial explosives and detonating fuels. License is compulsory. The next is dangerous chemicals. Next is tobacco, cigarette and related products. Then alcohol drinks. Then drugs and pharmaceuticals. These are the 6 industries where the license is compulsory. For the rest of the industries, there is no need to procure the license. The second measure is de-reservation of industries. With the liberalization, the number of the industries exclusively reserved for the public sector was reduced. The industries which were reserved for the central government by the IPR 1956, that is Industrial Policy Regulation Act, was cut down to 8. Later on it is reduced to 3. It means that central government can only run the industries related to defense, autonomic energy generations and railway transportation. The rest of the industries can be opened by the private sectors. It was felt that the government cannot control everything and the growth of the country is mandatory. So the government decided that the private sector should be allowed to participate in the growth objective of the country. Let us discuss the third measures, that is augmentation of production capacity or abolition of the MRTP limit. Listen, augmentation of production capacity means laying down the production capacity. Before the liberalization policy, industries had to obtain permission from the government, we have already seen, to expand the scale of production. But with the introduction of liberalization, MRTP companies were free to expand the scale of the business. In the year 2002, MRTP Act was replaced by the Competition Act. The fourth measure is import of capital goods. Before 1991, there was a restriction on import of certain industrial goods. Why? So that the freedom to import capital goods and technology is possible, which is being needed for the infrastructure development of the country. The fifth measure is reforms in the small scale industries. Before 1991, some goods could be produced only in small industries. The government has given the protection to the small scale industries so that the small scale industry should flourish. In the liberalization, the government increased the maximum limit. Earlier it was 5 lakh, but the government through it increased to 10 crore in the case of manufacturing sector and 5 crore in the case of service sector. This encourages the development and the modernization of the small scale sectors. The number of the small scale sectors start increasing up in the country. Let us see the second reform, that is financial sector reforms. Under the financial sector reforms, 4 measures being taken. Let us see. First is role of RBI. There is a change in the role of the RBI. Next is establishing private sector banks. Third, foreign investment. Fifth, setting up of new branches. Let us discuss all these measures in detail. The first is role of RBI. Before 1991, the role of the RBI was controller. With the new economic policy, the role changed to the facilitator of the foreign sector. This implies that now onward, financial sector is free to make decisions on various matters without consulting RBI. This opens up the gate of financial sectors for the private sector. The second measure is establishing private sector banks. The private sectors were allowed a great role in the financial sector. Many private sector banks, Indian and the foreign, were established. Example, ICICI Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Hong Kong Bank, etc. Let us see the third measure, that is foreign investment. Before 1991, foreign investment in the Indian financial market was restricted. With the reform policy, now foreign investment limit in banks was raised to around 50%. Foreign institutional investors such as merchant banks, mutual funds and pension funds are now allowed to invest in Indian financial market under strict guidelines of RBI. The fourth measure is setting up of branches. Before the new economic policy, if a bank want to open up the new branch, firstly they have to take the permission from the RBI. Now all the banks are free to open up the branch if they are following the parameter given by the RBI. Let us see the third reform, fiscal or the tax reforms. Tax reforms are concerned with the reforms in government revenue and government expenditure policies, which are collectively called fiscal policy. Following measure has been taken in this regard. Let us see the measures. The first is reduction in direct tax. Second, reform in indirect taxes. Third, simplification of tax paying procedure. Let us discuss all these measures one by one. The first is reduction in direct tax. Firstly, we should know what is the meaning of the direct tax. The tax which is imposed on one and is paid by the same person on which it is being imposed, that is called direct tax. Example is salary, wealth tax, etc. Before 1991 and also afterwards, there has been an increase in the indirect taxes on the income of individuals and profit of the business enterprises. With income reform, it was felt that more and more people are evading the tax. Why? Because tax rate is high. So the government decided that they should decrease the tax rate so that more and more people should pay the tax instead of evading the tax. The next measure is reforms in indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are the tax which is imposed on one but paid by the other. Example is service tax, imposed on the producer but is paid by the customer. Before the new economic policy, there were complexities in imposing and recovering indirect taxes. Now effort has been made to reform the indirect taxes so that the confusion should be cleared from the people. Let us see the third measure, that is simplification of tax paying procedure. Before 1991, it was a very complex procedure to make tax payment in terms of long distance, fixed period, etc. But later on it is being realized that we should simplify it so that people should feel comfortable in paying the tax. The next reform is foreign exchange reforms. Under the foreign exchange reforms, we were having devaluation of rupees and determination of foreign exchange rate. Let us discuss all these measures one by one. The first one is devaluation of the rupees. Listen, when I say devaluation of rupees, it means that decreasing the value of the Indian currency by the government. Before the 1991, government felt that the Indian currency should be devalued. Why? Because there is a balance of payment crisis. The next measure is determination of the foreign exchange rate. Before 1991, India was following the fixed exchange rate system. But after the new economic policy, it is being decided that the India will follow the flexible exchange rate system. Under the flexible exchange rate system, the foreign exchange rate will be determined by the market forces. Earlier, the rate was determined by the government itself. Let us see the fifth reform, that is trade and investment policy reforms. Liberalization of trade and investment policy was initiated to increase efficiency and increase competitiveness of the international market so that foreign investment should increase in the country and the technology should improve. Let us see the reforms taken under it. The first measure which comes under it is dismantling of quantitative restrictions on import and exports. It means reducing the quantitative restriction on import and exports. Second measure is reduction of tariff rates. Third is removal of licensing procedure for imports. Fourth one is removal of export duties. Let us discuss all these measures one by one. The first one is dismantling of quantitative restrictions on import and exports. Before 1991, India followed a policy of quantitative restrictions on import and exports so that domestic industry should be protected. This was basically done by keeping the high tariff rates. Now liberalization aimed at the removal of quantitative restrictions on import and exports. In the year 2001, quantitative restrictions on import of manufactured consumer goods and the agriculture goods is totally removed. The next measure is reduction of tariff rates. There was a high tariff rates imposed on imported goods. The reason is to protect the domestic industries from foreign competition. Now tariff on import were reduced so that the domestic trade and the economy should grow. The next measure is removal of licensing procedure for imports. Before 1991, it was compulsory for the import to have the license. Now the import licensing was totally abolished except in the case of hazardous and environmentally sensitive industries. The next measure is removal of export duties. Earlier, there were heavy export duties imposed to encourage domestic production. Now, export duties have been removed. Why? So that the competition of the Indian goods should increase in the international market and the quality of the Indian goods should be improved. That's all we have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. Dear aspirants, I have already made videos on chapter 1 and chapter 2. Please watch those videos again and again so that the content will become clear and you can score good marks in your examination. Please feel the heat of knowledge.